Hey, Dr. Brandy here. I just thought I would do this little video for you outside because it's so beautiful out here. This is where I tend to do my work in the summer. There's no background noise right now. We live in the mountains, so it's usually pretty quiet, but somebody may start up a chainsaw or something, so please pardon the background noise if that happens. I'm just sitting here drinking a little cherry lemonade. Um, do you ever like get sick of tired of water or get bored with it? Well, then just add in some fruit or some herbs and a little bit of stevia. That's what I did, and it's just helping me drink so much more water. So, yeah, I just wanted to take a few minutes today to introduce myself. We've had like a huge increase in our community. There's so many people coming into our community, and I want to make sure that you understand why you're here, what I do, and how I might be able to serve you. So, maybe you've been in our tribe for a long time. I know we've had a lot of people who've been with us for a very long time. So thank you for hanging in there with us. And then we've also got a lot of new people who are coming in either because they're interested in what programs we're offering, or they're interested in getting recipes that I give people on the transformation program, or different things like that. So I just wanted to kind of encapsulate what we do here, so you know if you should stay or if it's for you, or if you have further questions, you can reach out and you can at least know that we're available to help you in the ways that I'm about to describe for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so as you know, I am Dr. Brandy Victory. My passion is helping people create a greater state of well-being on all levels. So my doctorate is in chiropractic care, and my specialization is functional health and quantum healing. So I like to call myself a quantum health optimization practitioner. And I know that's a lot of words, and I'm going to break it down for you. So just bear with me right here, okay? So in our world today, functional medicine is pretty well known. Like, most people have at least heard of functional medicine. But if you haven't, and in case you don't know, let me just explain what functional medicine is for you. So functional medicine practitioners look at health from a holistic perspective. So rather than giving you a drug to suppress a symptom, we're going to look at the whole body and listen to what the body has to tell us, so we can begin to optimize your systems rather than suppress symptoms. So it's just a different way to address healing and health. My perspective is that drugs don't heal. They suppress symptoms, so we feel a little better. But the root cause of the reason why we have the problem could still exist there, even with medication. I know I was on medication when I was younger. I had bipolar manic depression, and the doctors put me on all kinds of medications. And what I came to find was that they did help me stay balanced, like crutches help you walk when you break your leg, but they never caused it to get better. Like, I never got better. I always had to be on the medications, and the doctors even said, you'll be on your medication the rest of your life. Well, I haven't been on that medication in 20 something years, because I found my way through healing that part of myself. And so that is why I do the work I do, because most people don't realize that they have this internal healing potential inside of them. Like, we all have it. It is what created us heals our body. Like, God consciousness created us and heals our body. So it's still inside of us. We're never apart from it. And whenever we are veiled from remembering that, whenever we are confused or been programmed, or high toxicity levels get in the way of our ability to receive this flow of consciousness, of grace in our life, then that's when we set ourselves up for disease, okay? And so from a functional medicine point of view, we're looking to optimize some systems, optimize how your systems are functioning rather than suppressing symptoms. Because the body's always looking to be in homeostasis or balance, but whenever it's out of balance, then we set ourselves up for disease, all right? So MDs are basically trained to give drugs or surgery, to diagnose and give drugs or surgery, and rather than treating the root cause. And this is where we differentiate functional medicine from medical. The traditional medical model is functional medicine is looking to treat the root cause. All right. Now, standard functional medicine care is basically, let's look at your labs. Let's have a conversation. Let's learn about what's going on in your body and your symptoms. Let's create a personalized supplement protocol based on your body's needs. And give you some lifestyle modification techniques to begin to improve how your body functions. And it's so good. I attribute so much of my healing to functional medicine. I met Dr. Robert Rakowski when I was at the bottom of my bottom, like literally planning my death. And he helped me see that there was actually a problem. So most doctors, when I would go to the doctor and say, oh, my body hurts, I had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, digestive disorders, autoimmunity, hypothyroid, like the list goes on and on. I was really bad off. And, most doctors would just say, yeah, your labs are fine. Basically, it's all in your head. Go keep taking your meds, like that's no answer, right? And I knew inside myself, like on a very deep level, that my problem wasn't a lack of medication. Like nobody's problem is a lack of medication. So I'm not saying medication's not helpful, because it is, just like crutches are helpful when we break our leg, and it's not gonna do deep healing work, right? Which is what's necessary to resolve disease process in the body. So that's kind of the long and short of functional medicine. We're looking at physiological change in system function, giving the body what it needs to improve system and optimize system function so that dis-ease process can be reversed or resolved. Okay, so that's functional medicine. Now, quantum healing or quantum health optimization practices include that, but they also include the understanding that we're more than just our physical body. So you are way more than just your physical body. You've got an energy system. We know through quantum physics, we understand there's a torus field, which is part of our energy system. It's how energy flows through our system. We've got meridians and nadis, which are energetic channels in the body that have been practiced by acupuncturists and Ayurvedic medicine for centuries. Okay, and we also have a spirit or a soul body, right? And when we look at the energetics of a body, we have a central channel, and divine light and guidance and intelligence comes down through the central channel. It goes down and it moves and flows around in this torus field and through the nadis, and each of those nadis originate at what we call a chakra or an energy plexus that run down the central channel of the body. And then those mimic or reflect the nervous system and the functionality of different organ systems in our body. So that whole system, in the energetics and the nadis and the nervous system and the organs, if we have any interference or blockages or restriction in that whole system, we're gonna see it or feel it on a physical level in our physical body, and we're going to call it a name, like a disease, like diabetes or prostate issues or erectile dysfunction or excess weight or headaches or joint pain. Okay, so it could be that you have a nutrient deficiency that's causing your headaches or your lack of ability to digest certain foods, and you could have an energetic imbalance that also relates to that physical experience as well. My belief is that we can't have one without the other. So it's like two sides of the same coin. We've got an energy body and a physical body, and they're interrelated, and one affects the other and the other affects the other. So if you're having a physical experience, likely there is an energetic blueprint that predisposes you to that physical experience. So if it's not so good, if you have a physical experience that's not so good, let's say joint pain, then there's an energetic blueprint that predisposes you to that joint pain. And that energetic blueprint can be shifted and changed through our consciousness, through our awakening of our and healing of our traumas, through nervous system rebalancing techniques, through so many things, through removing toxins from the body in our life. So there's a lot we can do on the quantum healing. So it's more than just healing the physical body. It's really healing the energetics and balancing the energetics. It's looking at healing and balancing the neuroemotional body. So the part of ourselves that is consciousness that could be programmed to not necessarily uphold what we need to uphold to create the greatest health and wealth in our body, in our soul, in our life. But when all of those systems are balanced, we have we have a really great state of health. So, if all of those energy systems are balanced, and the flow of consciousness and light and healing potential and energy flows through our body unimpeded, we have optimum health. And we all absolutely have the ability to reach this level of optimum health by moving things out of our way that are in our way of achieving it. Okay. And when we're in the greatest flow in our life, we feel purposeful, we feel worthy, we feel loved, we feel complete. We're not searching and yearning for something and getting caught up in addictive behaviors and things like that. We feel, really great about our body and about our life and about what we offer the world and how we show up. And living from a passionate, purposeful place. So, is this where you are? Because if you're like loving the body you're in, you're feeling totally satisfied in your life, about how you show up, about feeling completely uninhibited to do the things that feel right for you, and you put yourself first before you put other people. If your sleep is on point, your bowel movements are happening at least once a day, fully formed, and you feel complete when you have them. Your relationships are fabulous. You feel like you're aging much slower than your friends. If this is all you, and you have all the energy you desire in your life, and you feel happy and vitalized when you wake up in the morning, then, yay, this is amazing, because we all have the ability to have that in our life, and you deserve to have that in your life. And if you've achieved that, then you've accomplished something great, because most people haven't. Most people are walking around complaining about something, feeling like a victim, hurting, wondering how to turn it all around, and can't figuring out the solution to the problem. And then chalking it up to, well, I'm just getting older, which is a bullshit lie, okay? We're not going to turn back the hands of time. Like, the clock moves forward, right? Our days and years move forward. However, we are conditioned in our society to age so much faster than that clock says we should, right? So, you have the ability to turn that around. So, if you just said yes to all those things and you feel like your life is on point, you probably don't even need to listen to the rest of this video. However, if you don't quite say yes to all of those things, there may be something else here for you. So I'm just going to ask for your full attention, because I'm going to break all of this down for you so that you can have a deeper understanding of how you can maybe reach your greatest healing potential. So I often hear people say, well, I know what to do, I just don't really do it. And my question for you is that if that's what you say to yourself or to other people, why don't you? If you know what to do, why don't you? It's a really great question to contemplate. And it may not be one you want to contemplate, because then you're going to have to look at yourself a little bit deeper. But if you want actual resolution in some of these issues, and the joint pain and the headaches and the fatigue and the exhaustion and the excess weight and the indigestion, the constipation, if you want resolution in that stuff, we've got to look deeper than your physical body. Because remember, you're way bigger than that. And you must address all your parts for true resolution to happen in any symptom you have, okay? So, my guess is the reason why you don't is because you have some programming that tells you that you shouldn't, or you can't, or you'll be a failure if you try, because you've tried so many things and you might as well not. And then you overlay a story on top of that says, well, I just want to enjoy my life. And people tend to convince themselves that eating whatever they want and doing whatever they want is enjoyable, but they forget to also include how they feel as being enjoyable. So if you go out and you just eat donuts all day, you're going to feel pretty crappy, right? Yeah, you're going to feel crappy. You're going to have inflammation in your body. You're going to get diabetes, and your joints are going to hurt, and you're going to have headaches, and you're going to be fatigued, and your blood sugar is going to be dysregulated, and that doesn't feel so good. Really, it does not feel good to be in that state. And so we're lying to ourselves if we're saying, oh, well, I just want to enjoy my life, so I'm going to eat whatever I want. That's a bullshit lie, because it's not enjoyable. It is enjoyable for the moment you're eating it. And then after that, you feel like crap, and then you're not enjoying your life, right? So we got to kind of wrap our head around all that. So there's programming that gets in the way of us being able to take action in the way that we feel like we should to enjoy the greatest level of health that we can. Then we also have our comfort zone. So our comfort zone is really easy to be in, regardless of how painful it is. And so we just keep coming back to it. So we got to be able to break the comfort zone. We got to be able to take your thermostat and move it from 72 to 74 or to 69, right? And then change it so that your body and your physiology and your consciousness becomes more comfortable with shift. Because if you don't shift, then you're going to just keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to keep experiencing what you're experiencing. It's probably only going to get worse down the line until you do make a shift. So you might as well like bring consciousness to the experience and make a choice for yourself to shift, right? The other thing is the reason why people don't necessarily show up for themselves in the way that they think they should is because they don't really know. They say they know, oh, I know what I should do. I should eat better and exercise, but they don't really do it because they've tried it before and it didn't work. I can't tell you how many people, I mean, endless people that I talk to, they're like, yeah, I've tried so many things, but nothing seems to work. So, why would somebody who's tried everything and felt like a failure and it never worked, try again, right? But then we overlay a story on top of it and just say, yeah, it's no big deal. I just want to live my life and enjoy it. It's just part of aging. And if that's your story and you want to stick to it, go for it. But just do it with consciousness and know that there is another choice for you. Like I said, most people think, oh, if I just ate better and exercised more, I'd feel better. And of course, these things are going to make a huge difference in our lives, right? Of course. But the thing is, people don't really realize that that's not the full equation. That's only part of the story. So people assume that that's all it takes. Let's just exercise and eat right, and then that's all it takes. But the thing is, maybe back in the 50s, that would have been enough. When we were working on farms and moving our bodies and eating off the land, that was enough. But we don't really live in a simple world anymore. And, so my grandpa, he was a doctor, and his patients loved him. He would make house calls. He would go to nursing homes and clip the toenails of people who were in the nursing homes. He was loved and adored and trusted immensely. Back then when my grandpa was treating patients, those were the days when we could put a lot of trust in our doctors, and then they were going to give us the best guidance they could. And if it was, take an antibiotic, it was take an antibiotic. But if it was, squeeze some lemons in your water or drink barley water to help give your body more calcium so that your immune system gets boosted while you're sick, or, those kinds of things, like your doctor might tell you those kinds of things when back in the day, right? But the reality is, our doctors, I'm not saying doctors aren't trustworthy, because I absolutely believe that every single person who goes into doctoring, on whatever level that looks like, they do that because they want to help people get well. Like that's the impetus to bring this work to the people. The problem is, what's happening in our society today is that our doctors are being trained to diagnose, give drugs, and give surgery. And so they are pill pushers. That's what they're trained to do, and it's a really sad thing. I know when I was going to college, I was going to be a surgeon. Like that was my initial thing. I'm going to be a surgeon, So I was getting ready to do that, and things changed in my life, and I obviously didn't do that. I went this direction, and it wasn't because I knew about holistic healing and all these kinds of things at all. It was a whole nother story. I didn't actually go to chiropractic college to be a chiropractor, and I'll share that story with you sometime. I know that's pretty crazy. I didn't even know what a chiropractor was, honestly, and I went to chiropractic college. So this is what I'm saying about divine alignment, right? When you're guided to do something, if you're guided to listen to this video or this audio, or you're guided to go somewhere else today, or take a different job, or say that particular thing to your family or your friend, there's divine alignment in that. And if we fully trust in that, then we can always know that we're on purpose, right? And that's part of the quantum healing aspect of the work that we do, because I think we're not taught to understand and to trust in that, and to know it's enough, to know that we're on the right track. This whole COVID thing has been so hard for so many people, and it's in divine alignment of where we're going evolutionarily. So I know that's a hard one to take for some people because it's a struggle. No one said there's not going to be struggle, right? It's how we handle the struggle and who we become because of the struggle, and how we learn and expand and grow as spiritual beings on this planet. Like, that's the important piece here. Yeah, there's going to be struggle. That's what it takes to refine ourselves, right? That's what we do here on the planet Earth. So, if we look back to when my grandpa was treating patients, there was no such thing as organic, right? The food in the 50s was way more nutrient dense than the food we have today. The patterns of chemical toxicity in our environment and in our food very much mimic the rate of autism, of infertility, of Alzheimer's, and all these chronic diseases that are becoming a natural part of a common part of our life, highly reflect the state of affairs of our food and the soil that our food is grown in, right? And our doctors, they no longer will recommend things to enhance immunity or lower cholesterol beyond drugs. Like, they may say, yeah, eat better or reduce your fat to help reduce cholesterol and take this statin, right? That's what they're trained to do, and great, because it's needed and necessary in some ways, but it's not the only way. So basically, an MD's way is their go-to is medication for chemical control of physiology to suppress a symptom. That's what they do, okay? And this is way different than aligning to nature and looking at health from a holistic perspective. So this is where quantum health optimization comes in, because we look at the body from a holistic perspective, of course, like we spoke of before, how our organ systems are functioning and communicating and in alignment, and the flow is happening through the systems so that communication is happening, and so improved and optimized systems happen. But we also, in the quantum world, we also looked at the mind and the spirit. So we have mind, body, spirit medicine happening here. And it goes beyond that our bodies are just the only thing to address, right? We have to address the mind. We have to address the body. We have to address the spiritual component. We have to understand that our bodies are part of this system of nature. Like, we are a part of it. Like, every single spring I see we have so many, oh my gosh, I wish I could show you right now. We have so many wildflowers that have popped up over the last couple of weeks. It's incredibly beautiful. And they'll be here for a few more weeks, maybe another month, and then they'll start to go, and then fall will come, and then we'll watch the aspens turn rivers of gold through the mountains here, and then that will fade, and the gold flat leaves will fall off, and then the next thing we know, we'll start having snow, and we'll be with that. And so there's this cycle of nature and these cycles of life that happen not just for the trees and the flowers and the birds, but for us. We're a part of that system, and we have to honor that system and align with that system, because that is creation with a capital C. And if we're not aligned to it, which most of us kind of don't. I mean, we're not taught to do that. We're taught to stay up late, work on the computer late, not go to bed when the sun goes down and come up when the sun comes up, and eat early in the day. And, we're not taught that stuff. And so we have to really consider what our health is worth, and our health, not just in our physical body, but in our mind. Like, there's, and I'm going to do another podcast on this, actually. It's like, are you sick mindset or well mindset? It's one or the other. And so most people that I talk to are in a sick mindset, at least to some degree. And of course, when we've been, in bed and can barely get out of bed because we're so fatigued or in pain, or we've tried all these things and nothing seems to work, and we can't lose the weight. And, of course, it causes us to be in a mindset of, man, I'm screwed up, or I'm not fixable, or I'm broken, or nothing works for me. That's kind of common to be in that mindset when we've had those experiences, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. Again, your mind is a very powerful thing. And so we have to go back, and we have to start to we have to assess, where is our mindset? Are we a sick mindset, well mindset? And I'll go deeper into that in another podcast. But, quantum healing and health optimization takes that into account and begins to give you what you need so that you can be up-leveling your consciousness, so that you can up-level your physical experience in your body. All right. And so just know that I'm bringing this story and this conversation to you with so much love, so much open heartedness, so much compassion. Okay. And please take that in for yourself and give that to yourself. Give yourself the compassion, give yourself the love, give yourself the knowingness that you are enough and you are complete and whole just like you are. And there's nothing to yearn for, and that you have the absolute ability to heal and to resolve whatever dysfunction or disharmony that is happening in your life, in your body, in your field, in your consciousness. Like, you have the ability to do that. We all have the ability to do that, and you have the right to do that, okay? And so just claim that for yourself right now. Like, feel that in your belly, feel that in your gut, feel that in your heart, feel that in your pelvic floor. Like, yes, yes, this is a time for me, and I get to choose it. And so I am offering that to you so that you can have more grace in your life, more love in your life, more fun and happiness in your life, more vitality in your life, because you deserve it. So people often want to know what it's like to work with me. So if you haven't been to my website, drbrandyvictory.com, you can go there, and I have a video at the top, and then if you scroll down, you're going to get different videos from patients who've left me videos to talk about how it is to work with me, which are very fun for people to watch. I love it that people get so much benefit from the work we do together, and they don't even expect it. Because, honestly, we don't really know how bad we feel until we don't feel bad. Even me, and I'm pretty tuned into my body, and I'm pretty good at treating my body and resolving things in my body because I've been at this since I was 19 years old. I'm coming up on 50. So, yeah, I'm pretty good at it. But what I noticed was over the last, I don't know, since COVID, I guess, I've had this chronic sinus infection that I couldn't clear. I was trying everything. And so I did a food sensitivity test. And there's this questionnaire in the lab kit, and they were like, check off all your symptoms, right? I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, check, 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 check. Oh my gosh. And the more I checked off, I realized, well, crap. I didn't realize I was having headaches almost every day. I didn't realize I was having bloating almost every day. I didn't realize I was having gas every day. I was sneezing all the time. Like, that was obvious to me. That's sneezing and sinus stuff is what I was focusing on, right? But I wasn't focusing on all the other stuff. Oddly enough, I was not realizing that I was feeling so shitty, right? And so I did the food sensitivity test, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I had to change my diet to work on my gut and get myself back. And you know what? I'm only like 2 or 3 weeks in, and my sinuses are like 50 or 60% cleared, and I'm not having daily headaches, and my joints are feeling better, and I didn't even know that was a problem. I have so much more energy. I just feel better. I have hardly any anxiety, and I tend towards anxiety when I get out of balance, and like, I don't even really get anxiety now. It's only been a few weeks, but man, what a huge difference, right? And the reason why I'm telling you that is because you don't really know how bad you feel until you feel better. So you can go and watch those videos and learn a little bit about what other people experience if you'd like to do that. But if I were going to describe to you what it was like to work with me, we would basically do some testing, and you would do some questionnaires, and we would learn exactly what your personal body needs as far as nutrition. So maybe there's some nutrient deficiencies. Maybe there's a leaky gut. Maybe there's different things that your personal body needs that's different than everybody else's. I hear people say, oh yeah, I tried the keto diet. It worked for my Facebook friend, or it worked for my sister, and it didn't work for me. Well, yeah, it didn't work for you because your body is not your sister's body or your Facebook friend's body, right? Your body is your body. And we got to understand your unique physiology and what your unique physiology needs. Like, you're just this precious flicker of God consciousness, this radiance that has its own unique signature. And if you're not listening to and recognizing that you must address your own unique signature in a very personalized way, you're probably not going to reach the level of health that you desire to reach. Because again, your body's not somebody else's body, and we live in a very complex world when it comes to health and healing, and we got to address the complexity. So once we understand what your personal body needs, we create protocols and lifestyle modifications and different tips and techniques to support your physical body and nourish your body back to health so your systems can begin working the way they're meant to. We will also find where you're energetically blocked and open those channels for you. So whenever you have an energetic block, there's a lack of embodiment. And when we're not completely embodied in the fullness of ourselves, then we feel incomplete. We feel like there's something more that we should be, do, or have, and we don't feel fulfilled in a very deep way. Then we get compelled to do things that are, addictive type behaviors, drugs, alcohol, sit in front of Netflix, eat your popcorn, fill the void from externally trying to fill it, but it only continues to deepen the pattern of unfulfillment and dis-ease. So we must address our energy system and the neuro-emotional component of ourselves to truly resolve the root cause of disease. To truly resolve the headaches, the fatigue, the nausea, the prostate issues, the erectile dysfunction, the weight gain, the joint and muscle pain, the indigestion, the constipation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? So I have a patient, her name is Madeline, and she just kept gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight. And so what we learned from doing lab testing is that her thyroid was out of balance. Now, when we do lab testing, it's really different than what your medical doctor might do. So we do specialized testing, and we also look at the regular labs the normal doctors look at. However, we look at them differently. So if your MD is going to do a thyroid test, he's going to test your TSH, maybe your T4. But when I look at labs, I've got like 9 different markers I'm going to draw because I want to see what is actually the physiology happening in the thyroid. TSH is called thyroid stimulating hormone, and it's made in a little gland in your brain called the pituitary gland. And it's a great thing to test because it stimulates the thyroid to do its work. So if we're testing TSH, we're actually testing the pituitary's ability to produce TSH, not the thyroid's ability to receive the signal and then function in the way it's meant to. So we do like 9 different lab values on the thyroid so we can look at, is the TSH getting to the thyroid? Is the thyroid receiving the signal? If the thyroid is receiving the signal, is it functioning the way it's meant to? Is it producing enough T4? Is that T4 being metabolized down to T3, which is the bioavailable form of thyroid hormone? Is your body available to uptake it? Are there autoimmune markers that are reflective in the thyroid? Like, we have to look at all of that, right? And so with Madeline, we looked at her thyroid, and she was hypothyroid. Now, we can treat that, not a problem, easy to do. We gave her a supplement protocol and helped her get back into moving her body every day and those kinds of things. But beyond that, and this is where the quantum health optimization comes in. Like, again, we can look at the physical, but we got to look at the whole, right? And beyond that, we explored her. So your thyroid is here in the throat. The energetic center in the throat relates to how we hear, how we're heard, how we speak up for ourselves, how we can be in our authenticity and feel good about that. And what was happening for her is she felt like she had to suppress her voice in her family. She felt like that she had a mold she had to fit herself into to be accepted and loved by her family, because she was into more of this natural healing stuff and her family wasn't into it. And so she couldn't necessarily have this conversation with them. And there was so much more. I mean, but this is just one of them. And so, whenever you feel like you're being judged by people or your family especially, you'll tend to shut down your voice, only say things that they'll be able to receive. Her weight gain, we came to understand, was a result of a buffer. So she was trying to buffer herself and create a boundary with her physical body from a subconscious perspective. Like, she didn't think that. She didn't think, oh, I'm going to gain some weight so I can have this boundary, this bigger container for myself that I can live in and no one gets to come in here. Like, she didn't think that through. That's not a conscious thought, but that's on a subconscious level. That's what she was doing. And so, there was lots of emotional pain that she was numbing out from by feeding her face. Her energy just plummeted and she wasn't able to really do the family stuff. But what a great excuse, right? What a great excuse to not be able to go hang out with your family who doesn't really accept you for the way you are. Oh gosh, well, we could talk about this stuff all day, but the truth of it is we have to address the subconscious component and the neuro-emotional component that's in the background running our habits and our life. And whenever we remove the subconscious interference, then our physical body can change. So she began losing her weight. She got her energy back, and we helped her realize that she is acceptable and she is lovable just as she is, and she had to come to a place where she could actually feel it in her body. So I took her through practices where she could be embodying that aspect of herself even more deeply, so she could feel the truth that she's lovable and acceptable. So, it takes that. It really does. It takes that to get true resolution. I could give her all the supplements I wanted, and if we didn't address that, she's probably not going to get well, right? But she came into this place where she has her own sovereignty and realizes it and can make her own choice. And it's a practice, right? It's a practice. You don't just wake up one day and you're like, oh, maybe you do. And good luck. And I'm happy if you do that, but most people don't. And I don't think you should expect it. The problem is in our society, we're treated, take the pill, you'll feel better. And we all want it right now. And we all expect it right now. And so whenever, you decide to go on a new journey. I just had a new patient come in. She's like, yeah, I have this other doctor and he does similar work to what I do. And she's like, yeah, but I go and then I don't go. And then I go and I don't go. Well, for me, I have to hear that loud and clear because that's not the patient. That's not the kind of relationship I want to have with my patient. So I had to ask her, I was like, okay, so what is it that gets in your way of continuing care with him? Because if it works for you, why do you stop? And she's like, well, I've just self-sabotaged myself all my life. And that's what I do. I start things and then I don't finish them. Or I start things and I start to get better and then I sabotage myself and make myself go backwards. And, and so my question to her is, if we were going to start working together, is it okay for me to hold you accountable and point out when you're starting to check out? And then are you willing to make a commitment to yourself to stay in the game with me? And if you are, then I'm happy to work with you, right? But otherwise, you need to figure that out for yourself if you really are ready to step into your truth, healing potential. And it takes work. There's no magic wand, right? There's no magic wand. Everybody wants the magic wand, and I wish I had one. I actually do have a magic wand. Anyway, so that's it. Just to kind of encapsulate it all for you. If we were going to work together, it's all of that, right? It's all of that. And it's all of that because I want the greatest potential for healing for all my patients. I want everyone who works with me to feel like they accomplished something when they're done. Not, well, I took a bunch of supplements, but nothing really worked. Like, I'm not going to have my patients saying that story to their family and friends. It's not going to happen. So I don't work with people who aren't willing to go all in with me, right? Because you got to go all in if you want true change to happen. So I know that this is a lot of information. And if you're still listening to this, I'm assuming there's something here for you. And yeah, I'm here to continue this conversation with you. We do offer complimentary consultations. I will put a link below this video or in the show notes for you to schedule your complimentary consultation. And, I want you to just listen to yourself and listen to how your mind is working right now. Because either you could be going, oh my gosh, I'm all in, I'm ready for this, let's do this. And you're going to click on the button and you're going to sign up for your complimentary consultation. And you're not going to let anything get in your way because that's who you are. You could also be having the inner conversation with yourself, well, I should just get my diet back on track first and then, or I should just start exercising more and do the things I know I should do and then I'll reach out. Or you could be having the conversation that I'm full of shit and nothing works anyway and everything I've said is bullshit, and just recognize the story that's going on in the background, okay? Because that's your pattern, that's your habit. That's how you self-sabotage. That's how you take yourself out. That's how you convince yourself of your own story and all the lies that we end up telling ourselves on a conscious and subconscious level so that we can stay comfortable. So if you want to stay comfortable, great, do it, but just do it consciously, right? And if you're ready for change, then click the link below. Let's get you scheduled for a complimentary consultation and let's learn a little bit more about you. You can learn a little bit more about our practice. You can learn the different packages and programs that we have. We try to make it accessible to everybody and meet you where you're at. But you got to want it, right? You got to want it. You got to be ready to step up. So we're here for you. I look forward to it. And I hope this was at least an enlightening conversation for you. Mwah.